What if I told you that you've been programmed to study the wrong way all your life, and because of this you have achieved far less than what you're capable of? What if I told you that if you made a few small changes to your revision strategy, you would have done far better in your maths exams than you previously did? How does that make you feel? Quite disappointed, right? Well, don't worry, because in a couple of minutes I will reveal the number one secret to scoring an A star in Gcse maths and practically any Gcse exam. So sit tight, turn off all distractions and stay glued to your screen. You don't want to miss a single word. I don't usually do presentations like this and I have no idea how long I'll keep this up for, so take full advantage of this while you can. Before I reveal my number one secret, let me tell you a little bit about myself and how I'm absolutely certain that you are studying the wrong way. I'm Jeevan Singh and I achieved an A star in Gcse maths, which by the way I took a year early. I studied A-level maths and again I achieved an A star grade. I then went on to study maths at one of the best universities in the UK. Now I know what you're thinking. Jeevan, you're gifted, or you're some kind of a nerd, but to tell you the truth, I am far from gifted. There is nothing special about me, really. I'm just an average student. So how did I manage to do so well in my maths exams? Well, I guess I just understood the revision process really well. I knew how to apply myself, but more importantly, I learned how to approach an exam in the most efficient way possible. If you're really thinking about an exam, what is it exactly? Well, it's just two things, a textbook and an exam. You simply take the information from the textbook and place it in the exam and just make sure it's in tune with what the examiner is looking for. If you look at it this way, surely it can't be that difficult, right? What really surprised me was results day. There was me, an average student with exceptional results, and I looked around and I could see a number of glum faces. These were glum faces of students who obviously didn't do too well, but the sad part about it was these students were actually intelligent people. They were hard-working people who used to attend all of their lessons and complete all of their homework on time. You would expect them to cruise through their exams, but instead they only managed to get mediocre grades such as B's, C's, and even D's. I started to wonder, why was it going so horribly wrong for them? What was I doing different in terms of revision? Now there's a very good chance you are making the same mistakes as these students. How am I so sure? Well, we only need to look at the current GCSE maths results as a whole to prove this point. As you can see, around 40% failed the subject altogether, 50% achieve an average BC grade, and 10% achieve a top A or A star grade. This means there is a 90% chance you are underachieving in your GCSE maths right now, and the reason being is you are going about it totally the wrong way. So how can you achieve an A star in GCSE maths and become a part of the top 10% achievers? It's really simple. This is the number one secret. You find out what an A star student does and copy exactly what they do. I mean, copy them down to a T. That's it. If you do that, then results will soar. Now it sounds obvious, but the majority of students don't do this. They tend to go with their gut instinct, or they imitate what their friends do, and this is of course a very risky strategy. If you went up to an A star student in your school right now and asked them how they study, do you think they would reveal all their techniques? Of course not. At the end of the day, they want to excel and leave you behind. Us human beings have a tendency to imitate what others around us are doing. We see one of our friends writing notes from a revision guide, or hear of someone writing notes from a revision guide, and we'll do the same. But let me tell you this, writing notes is the most inefficient activity you can do, and it has virtually zero impact on your results. Have you spent a couple of hours writing notes on a particular chapter in a revision guide in the past, only to forget most of it and then return to the same chapter to make more notes? Well, unless you have superhuman mind capabilities, you would have answered yes to that question. You see, that's why note-taking is the most inefficient activity. It has the biggest strain on your time and you only remember 10% of what you write down initially. I advise all of my students not to focus on note-taking. I rarely did myself, and I bet you many other A-star students don't take their notes too seriously either. Believe it or not, note-taking is most effective right at the end of the revision schedule, just days or weeks before the real exam. I'll explain why soon. Right, we already know that if you were to go up to an A-star student and ask for their advice, they would most likely fob you off. So this is what I'm going to do for you today. I'm going to give you the exact same revision strategy I followed to get an A-star in Gcse Maths a year early. It's like the blueprint to Gcse Maths success. It is what all A-star students follow. I cannot go through it in detail right now because it will take me hours to explain it all, and I'm sure you have other things to do. So what I've done is created a course so you can learn all of my A-star revision techniques at your own leisure. It consists of a 200-page manual which literally walks you through step by step on how to get the grade you desire in Gcse Maths. Whether it's an A-star in Maths or just a pass grade, This guide will show you exactly how to do that. You'll be given a detailed revision schedule so you know what you have to do from day one right up to the day of your exam. You just simply have to copy it, and in the end, you'll get your target grade. It's really that straightforward. It comes with 3 sets of video tutorials, one for the foundation tier, one for the higher tier, and one for the Gcse higher tier, as the Gcse is becoming more and more popular these days. There are over 8 hours of video footage of me going through the trickiest exam questions of the syllabus. The examiners are looking to catch you out, but over the last few years, I trawled through the past papers of every exam board and pulled out all of these trick questions. By understanding these questions alone, you'll boost your result by 1 or 2 grades. As I said, I went through the past papers of every exam board, so this manual can be used by any math student, whether you're taking the Edexcel exam or the AQA or even the OCR board. It's also suitable for the new specification released in September 2015. You know, the one with the new grading system from 9 to 1? They spun the content around and moved a lot of the higher tier topics into the foundation tier, but you don't have to worry about this. I've identified all of these topics for you so you'll know exactly what sections to cover. Here are some examples of students who have made rapid progress in the new 9 to 1 specification after using my revision strategy. First, we have Prabjot from Kent. She moved from a 6th grade to an 8th grade within the space of a month. She said, "If anyone were to ask me what revision guide they should buy, I would tell them in a heartbeat to buy yours." Then there is Abby from London. She went from a 5- to a 5+ in just 5 weeks, scoring 54 out of 55 in her most recent test. That's almost 100%. She said, "This is the best revision program I have ever used." Anyone can use my strategy. Even if you're down and out, even if you feel hopeless at maths, you can still follow my strategy and boost your grade considerably. Sim from West London went from an F grade to a pass grade in her GCSE maths. In one of her modules, she actually scored 100%. The proof is there right in front of your eyes. That is a copy of her result slip. Ambreen from Sheffield, one of my best students to date, went from a U to a pass grade. A U grade. Do you know what a U grade means? Ungraded. She virtually started off with a score of 0, but with a change in attitude and my unique revision strategy, her result improved dramatically. You will also discover the fatal mistake most students make during their revision. It's so subtle, yet it can have a devastating effect on your final grade. It's so easy to make because you would think it's just part and parcel of revision. It is something you'd naturally do, but in reality, it seriously jeopardizes your grade. This is the simple reason why 90% of GCSE math students underachieve in their final exam every year. Aaron, another one of my students from West London, was making the same mistake and failed his GCSE maths first time round. Once he realised where he was going wrong, he cruised through his resit, scoring 90% in the process. Dia, also from West London, believe it or not, her teacher advised her to make this mistake. Her teacher, had she followed what her teacher said, she would have ended up with a C grade, but thankfully she didn't. She followed my advice and she achieved an A in her final exam. Another thing you'll learn from this guide is the most important area of your revision, the area that goes widely unnoticed. People put a lot of emphasis on past papers, but at the end of the day, past papers don't guarantee anything. I've seen many students work through practice paper after practice paper and still underperform in the exam. Why? Because they didn't dedicate as much time to this other area. Without focusing on this other area, past papers actually become pointless. As a matter of fact, in the last few days leading up to your exam, there is no need to do any past papers. Really, there isn't, and I'll explain why in the guide. What you should be focusing on in the last few days is my top 3 memory retention techniques so you can remember everything you need to know for your exam and virtually guarantee your target grade. Lastly, and is probably the most important thing, I will show you how to revise efficiently so you can free up as much as 50% of your time. I personally know of people who used to lock themselves in their rooms and revise around the clock. Do you honestly think barricading yourself in a room and reading a massive textbook is natural for you? Is this going to do any good for your mental and physical well-being? No, of course not. This is the biggest misconception when it comes to studying. People have this assumption that you have to revise endlessly to get good results, but it's so untrue. I strongly believe less is more. As long as you focus on the right things, it is possible to achieve top grades in your exams while spending half your time doing the things you enjoy. I used to do it all the time, so there is no reason why you can't do it too. In my guide, I'll show you my small rule of thumb that will allow you to free up as much as 50% of your time. You just have to put it in place and you'll have much more free time on your hands so you can do other things such as going on Facebook, watching films, or hanging out with friends. Imagine getting a top grade whilst doing all of those things. It would feel great, wouldn't it? This is the ideal lifestyle every student seeks, and believe me, by using my trick, it's not that difficult to obtain. This is what Ivan, another student of mine from Co Antrim, said about my tip. Jeevan's rule of thumb is so simple yet so effective. When I put it into practice, it allowed me to free up half of my time. At the end of the day, revision is not about work. And check this out, this is why I love Dia so much. She hit the nail on the head with this one. I think she understood this rule better than me, because what she did, I don't think I would have the guts to do. Just 2 days before her final GCSE maths exam, she went to Fort Park. She spent the whole day at Fort Park, yes, and you can see proof of this on the screen right now. This was a tweet posted 2 days before her exam. At first I was a little skeptical. Just 2 days before your exam? You're taking a bit of a gamble there. But she explained to me up to that point she followed all my revision principles down to a T and felt she had stored everything she needed to know for her exam. She could afford to miss a whole day of revision and it wouldn't affect her, and it didn't. In the end, she still got a solid A grade. That is the beauty about my revision program. As long as you follow it, you can afford to take time off and do other things you love to do, and you will not forget a single thing. This is not like your typical revision guide. Revision guides these days are just packed with information. What is good about a ton of information if you don't know how to apply it? These revision guides won't tell you the most critical mistake made when revising for a maths exam. They won't discuss the most important area of revision in detail as I've done, and they certainly won't teach you how you can free up 50% of your time. As Kimran from West London said, it's nothing like your usual revision guide because Jeevan's is a well-defined strategy. Jeevan shows you exactly what to do to achieve a top grade in GCSE maths in a step-by-step format. Amberine, the student who went from a U grade to a pass grade in maths, said, "Your resources are amazing, Jeevan. They are far better than the other revision guides I wasted money on. As you can see, my material is nothing like the run-of-the-mill revision guides you find in the local shops." Sounds great so far? Well, it gets a whole lot better because as part of this package I will throw in a number of bonus manuals too. The first is a smaller booklet called Gcse Maths Master Shortcuts. This neat little resource contains all the best shortcuts ever discovered in GCSE Maths. By using these shortcuts you'll solve questions quicker and look like a genius in front of your peers and teachers. The second booklet, called Gcse Maths Tricks of the Trade, builds on from all of the exam questions in the main revision guide. Up till now, this guide was given exclusively to students I tutored in my local area, but now I'm giving it away for free as part of the package. This guide contains all of the areas a typical student would drop marks on. By being aware of these areas, you will achieve near the 100% mark, let alone your target grade. This guide comes in very handy in the last few weeks of revision when you need something easy to refer to. The last bonus guide that I'm including in this package is probably the most important. The only thing that can prevent you from achieving a top grade in GCSE Maths is other GCSE exams. You probably have a whole host of exams to revise for, and this will obviously have an impact on your final GCSE Maths grade. I don't want your GCSE Maths grade to improve while your other ones suffer. That's why I created a guide on maximising your result in every GCSE exam. This guide will show you how you can balance out revision so you can achieve a top grade in all your subjects. I'll show you again how you can do that while spending half your time doing the things you enjoy. I'll go into more detail about why note-taking is not the way forward and how it can actually have an adverse effect on grades. You'll also find out why working back to front actually boosts results in the long run. You've watched my presentation up to this point, which means you're intrigued by my course. You want to achieve the best possible grades in your exams. You want to drop those old habits that are preventing you from fulfilling your true potential. Now there is just one question that remains. How much will this package cost me? Well, let me ask you this. What do you think all of this content is worth to you? If you consider the average rate of private tuition these days is £25 per hour, 8 hours of private tuition will cost you £200. That means the video tutorials alone would be worth £200. What about the 200-page manual? This manual is a documentation of my 15 years of knowledge and experience of the subject. It is a step-by-step strategy on getting your desired grade in GCSE Maths. All you have to do is follow A, B and C, and in the end you'll get the grade you want. Over the last couple of years I have fine-tuned my revision system so you can secure your target grade while spending half your time doing the things you enjoy. This is the dream scenario for any student. Parents have paid me hundreds of pounds for this valuable information in the past, so I think it's safe to say that the guide alone is worth at least £50. Then you have all the bonus material, GCSE Maths Master Shortcuts, GCSE Maths Tricks of the Trade, and how to maximise your result in every GCSE exam. If these guides can help you boost your grades across the board, then I think paying £50 for this extra material would be a fair price to pay. This gives a combined value of £300. Now parents would be happy to spend that sort of money if it meant their child's grade would improve dramatically and help them secure a high-paying job in the future. Take a look at the statistics for private tuition, for example. On average, parents pay £2,750 a year on private tuition. When you weigh up the two, paying a one-off £300 fee for a guaranteed system that will boost your GCSE grades considerably would be a worthwhile investment, wouldn't you agree? I charge over £40 per hour for face-to-face tuition, and I place my students on more or less the same revision program. Paying £300 for this package would be worth every penny if it maximised your child's results in their Gcse maths and all their other GCSEs and helped them secure a well-paid job in the future. But I understand that this price tag may be a little steep for you. At the end of the day, I want to help as many students as possible. Truth be told, our Gcse maths results as a nation is quite bad, and I feel the UK student population has so much more to offer. Not only that, but our kids are the future. They're going to shape our future economy. That's why I want every kid in the country to have this revision system. I don't want the price to be a hindrance for anyone, and that's why I'm prepared to slash the price by half to £150. £150 would be money well spent for a full revision program with 8 hours of video tutorials and bonus material, but then again, this price may still be a little out of reach for you. So I'll cut it by half again to £75. At £75 you're grabbing yourself a huge bargain. The price is now equivalent to maybe 3 or 4 sessions with a private tutor. But the only issue is it may put you off from buying it right now if you're a little hard up on cash. That's why I'll cut it by half one last time to £37. That is my absolute final offer for you today, £37. For £37 you'll get my full GCSE revision course, a 200-page manual which walks you through step by step on how to achieve a top grade in GCSE maths. You'll also be given 8 hours of video footage of me going through the trickiest GCSE maths questions from the syllabus. I will also give you bonus material so you can achieve the best grades in all your other GCSE exams too. The best thing about this is you can go through all this material in the comfort of your own home. There is no need to travel to a stranger's house to get tuition. You can go through all of this material at home and as many times as you wish. £37 is the equivalent to a family meal at Nando's or a couple of sessions with a private tutor, yet it will give you everything you need to pass your GCSE exams with flying colours. By the way, this is a downloadable product. Once you hit the buy button below, I'll send you an email with all the content. You don't have to wait for the postman. You can get started with this right away. You can see immediately where you are going wrong in your revision and how to avoid making the same mistakes again. Don't leave your revision to the last minute. You run a much greater risk of underperforming in your final GCSE exams if you do. By starting early, revision is more streamlined and it makes it easier to apply my free up 50% of your time rule. Click the buy button below and get your copy today. You have absolutely nothing to lose. My product comes with a 60-day no questions asked money back guarantee. I'll let you read through my guides, watch the videos and test out my revision principles for 2 months. If it doesn't boost your grades in that time, then I don't want your money. Simply return it to me and I'll give you a full refund. Even if it doesn't work out for you, I'll let you keep all of the bonus materials just for showing some faith in me. How does that sound? I don't think it can get any better than that. Whatever happens, you get to keep all of my bonus materials, GCSE Maths Master Shortcuts, GCSE Maths Tricks of the Trade, and maximising your result in every GCSE exam. But please give it your best shot because I know it will have a huge impact on your results because it's done the same for hundreds of other students across the UK. For some people it has changed their lives. Zakia from Northampton could only manage D's and E's in the mock exams, but after following my revision strategy she got a B in her final exam. My revision principles have helped her immensely in her A-level chemistry too. She says, "Thanks Stephen, my B grade will definitely help me in applying for a pharmacy course at university." Temitope from Kent used my revision strategy and achieved a B grade in year 10. She followed it again and in year 11 she achieved an A grade. She says, "You've given me the belief that I can do well in this subject, that's why I'm going to study it for A-level and make a career out of it." Aisha, another top student of mine, fell behind quite rapidly in year 10 due to an absence of teachers, and she was getting below average in her GCSE mock exams. After buying my package, however, her maths improved dramatically. In the end, she achieved an A grade in GCSE maths. She said, "I was a little disappointed I missed out on the A star, but considering the circumstances, I think I did pretty well. I'm now taking A-level maths out of grammar school and I wanted to thank you for helping me along the way. You have inspired me to do well in this subject and I'm sure my A grade will definitely help me to study veterinary medicine at a top university." George from Wakefield. He is one of my best students to date. He was predicted a C, but he wanted to go that extra mile and make his parents proud. He said, "Thanks to all your information and revision techniques, I got an A star in my maths GCSE exam. I struggled hard with algebra, but using your resources, I conquered the challenge and found it easy." Incredible. I've never seen somebody make that kind of a jump before in grades. That's how powerful my system can be to your revision. There is Deborah from Southport. She is a mature student and she needed to pass her maths to qualify for a PGCE teaching course. After failing it a couple of times, she almost packed it in, but then she came across my revision strategy. After following it, she passed the next Gcse Maths exam with ease. She said, "Your resources, together with your guidance, my pass in Gcse Maths was a foregone conclusion. Thanks, Jeevan, you have potentially changed my life." This is what Zain Akif, a Year 8 student from Cheshire, said about my revision system. "This guide has helped me jump from a level 6A in maths to a level 8C in my next school assessment. I am now regarded as a gifted individual. Thanks, Jeevan. I would recommend this guide to anyone studying maths." Students young and old are benefiting from this revision system. If you're young and think you're not quite ready for this program, think again. Did you know you actually begin GCSE maths concepts at a tender age of 10? I give material from this program to my 9 to 10-year-old students I tutor in my local area, and they seem to be making a lot of progress with it. One of my 10-year-old students, Mohammed Saeed, followed my 4-week program and passed his GCSE maths in 1 month. This is something hundreds of thousands of pupils fail to do after 9 to 10 years of school education. Mohammed's pass grade has got him a place at one of the best grammar schools in the country. He will be taking the higher tier exam in the next year or two, and I'm very confident he will get a grade 8 or 9. This means students as young as 10 can use my program and pass their GCSE maths. And as I said before, the earlier you begin, the better. As you can see, this revision system has worked wonders. It has helped hundreds of students up and down the country boost their grades in maths, and the last time I checked, it is now being used in over 60 schools across the UK and abroad. Honestly, it would be a silly move if you did not use this in your revision, so click the buy button below and get started right away. There's only 2 options you can take at this point. Pay a small fee of £37 and change how you study forever, or do nothing and just hope your GCSE results will come good this year. Believe me, a lot of my students who took the second option first time around seriously regret it. They underperformed in their exams and they had to sit through depressing retakes. When I speak to them now, they wish they had my material sooner. Don't leave your GCSE maths result to chance this year. Click on the buy button below and download the full program right now. I look forward to helping you get a top grade in GCSE maths.